So over the past few weeks, the Cavs have faced a lot of hate both from the media and just fans of the NBA. I've seen all the 2017 Hawks comments, I've heard everyone say they are second round exits, I've heard Brian Windhorst voice his concerns about Donovan Mitchell, and there are some real concerns right now with that groin. There is no denying that. And there is no denying that the Cavs have kind of been in a funk over the last 2 weeks. But if you know me, you already know I'm about to defend the Cavs, and I am going to do that. But I am going to try to stay as unbiased as possible because the things being said about this team are just so ridiculous. They literally are 60 and 15 and have had nothing to play for over the last month. In this video, I want to address the ridiculous takes about this team over the last few weeks. I want to recap what went down in the last few games, including the Pistons loss and the big bounce back win over the Clippers, and I want to talk about what Kenny Atkinson has had to say about what's been going on because he has been giving some big updates. But before I begin, I would really appreciate it if you would drop a like and subscribe. It only takes 5 seconds, plus you can always change your mind. We are on the road to 50,000 subscribers, and with your support, I believe that we can get there super fast. Alright, so the narrative around the Cavs that they are going to be second round exits just doesn't make any sense, plain and simple, because who's going to beat them? If you say the Knicks, I'll laugh in your face. Yeah, the Bulls are hot right now, but they are going to have to get through the play-in tournament, and they are just on a hot run right now, that's all it is. In a 7-game series, they would not beat the Cavs. The Pistons would not stand a chance. I don't care that they won that last game. The only team in the East that has a chance to beat the Cavs is the Celtics, and they would not be able to match up until the Eastern Conference Finals. And people are way overanalyzing the West Coast losing streak. Like I said, the Cavs just did not have anything to play for. They were coming off a 16-game winning streak. The 1 seed has basically been locked up. And also, Donovan Mitchell has been dealing with a groin injury that has made him less explosive. You can see it. And honestly, I wish he would have just taken that entire trip off because he looked horrible and it spread throughout the team. But the funny thing to me about all these overreactions is that the Cavs are 24-6 over their last 30 games. And you would think the sky is falling based on the reactions you're seeing on social media. It's hilarious to me, but that is just my opinion. Does Mitchell, Garland, and Allen need to play better? Yes, obviously, but they will figure it out. Everyone goes through bad stretches of play, and it's easy for a domino effect to happen when one player starts having a bad stretch. Even like Sam Merrill can't make a shot. There has just been no rhythm, and the Cavs have struggled to close out games. But they are going to hit that switch again, and they are going to gear up for the playoffs, and they can even use the first round to find that momentum that they need. But anyways, enough of that. Now I want to recap the loss to the Pistons, and honestly, I could have predicted this loss from a million miles away. No Ty Jerome, no Strus, on the road. The Pistons were playing this game going all out like it was the finals to see if they matched up with the 1 seed in the East. They were 0-3 coming into this game against the Cavs, and the Cavs were in a funk. Donovan Mitchell was still trying to find himself again since having that groin injury, and as I expected, the Cavs struggled a lot. But even being down double digits, they did dig deep and came all the way back, getting the score to 1 possession. But then the Pistons almost sort of panicked and went on a crazy run, playing like their lives depended on it, so they were able to pull away and get the dub. And if I was a Pistons fan, I would have been super hyped. I completely get it. But holy cow, that felt like a playoff game or even a finals game for no reason. Moving on to the Clippers game, the Cavs finally were back in Cleveland. Yeah, they were there for the Spurs game, but that was only like 24 hours, maybe not even that. But getting back to Cleveland was much needed for this team. And finally, for the first time in a while, the Cavs came out of the gate with a lot of energy and built up a lead. Yeah, Kawhi Leonard was out for this game, but the Clippers are still a really good and tough team to beat, and even with the Cavs finally playing decent offensively and building up a lead, the Clippers still found a way to give us all a scare at the end. But Donovan Mitchell made some huge defensive plays to seal the deal. Looking at the stats from this game, Jarrett Allen played 31 minutes, he had 25 points, 12 rebounds, 3 assists, and 2 steals, and was 11 of 12 from the field. Huge game for him. Max Strus only had 3 points, which that's not very good, but he had 3 rebounds and 6 assists. He found a way to make an impact. Darius Garland had 19, 4, and 7. Evan Mobley had 22, 7, and 4. And then Donovan Mitchell had 24, 12, 7 assists, and 4 big steals. And that was really the story of the game. In terms of the bench play, DeAndre Hunter had 10 points. Okoro had 11. Ty Jerome was of course sitting in this game, so it was big to win a game like this without him. And to now take a look at and break down the things Kenny Atkinson has said. Before this game, Kenny talked about how the Cavs needed to ramp up their competitiveness, and obviously, Donovan Mitchell, the leader of the team, was diving all over the floor. He was definitely pleased by that. Here's what he had to say about the effort.
About rebound and physicality, compete level, all that, but when your best player does it and leads, and not just the end, right? I thought the whole game. What do you have? 12 rebounds. Like you say, hey, come on, guys, we got a rebound. Now, when you do it, when you take the lead, that's it. That's why we have 60 wins.
I'm not sure how many of you guys are huge baseball fans, but this same exact thing goes for Jose Ramirez and the Guardians. And it's how they have built such a winning culture, even without having top-tier big-name players. Jose is the leader, and he is the first one in the gym, the first one to practice, and the last one to leave, and we all know how he leaves it all out on the field. So he sets the tone and everyone else follows, and whenever Donovan Mitchell does it, we see the same exact effect. Kenny Atkinson did actually stick with the starting lineup for longer in the second half than he normally would, but he did talk about the bench and how Max Strus impacted the game even without putting up a lot of points or making shots. Here's what he said about that.
I did stick with them longer than normal. I stuck with especially Donovan and Evan in longer stints, and I was just thinking, man, this is a playoff game. Like, we got to, that's what's going to be, the playoffs are going to be out. You know, you're rolling, that group was rolling, you stick with them. I think it was game 42. I would have done the normal rotation, but felt like we had to go and get this one for a lot of reasons. Max is, Max, he's such a great competitor, and he's great at all the hit and handback stuff, and can get downhill, and he's probably the guy that throws it to JA the most in the role, right? Which is important for us. So
I like Kenny's answer to that question because he definitely is in the right mindset. The playoffs are in less than 10 games, and in the playoffs, you let your best players play, or whatever group of guys is clicking, you let them play. Because of course a playoff game has a completely different approach to it than a regular season game. The goal is to win no matter the cost, and since the starting lineup has got to rest so much throughout the year and play under 30 minutes a game, it's now time to ramp everything up. I would like to see the Cavs go 5-2 over the last 7 games. I would like to see the Cavs go 5-2 over the last 7 games of the season to get to 65 wins and to set the tone and head into the playoffs with momentum. And Wednesday against New York will be a big test and a game I think the Cavs should treat like the playoffs. Also, Kenny Atkinson was asked about how different this season went compared to what his goal was before the season, and I loved his response.
I didn't expect 60 wins. I thought we would, be fighting. Kind of my internal goal was like, can we improve from last year? If that's 1 win, great. If it's 2 wins, great. That was kind of where my mind was. But for this team to take it to another level, kind of shatter that says a lot. And we're not done, right? We still got still can add to that. But told we got to celebrate this. It's not. Not the end goal, but we should take a deep breath and celebrate 60 wins. It's so hard to do in this league. It's it's a monumental task. So really happy for the guys.
The reason why I love this response is because Kenny is just a humble guy and he's not weird like Joe Mazzulla, a dude that wouldn't even respond to a cool comment about his brother being on the other side of the Utah Jazz bench. Kenny was completely real and he doesn't take things too serious. He recognized the accomplishments this team has had and he acknowledged that there is a lot more to be done. I think Kenny is the long-term head coach of the future of the Cavs, and I can't stand what I've seen on Twitter or X about him during this losing streak. That is one thing I hate about Cleveland fans sometimes. Some of y'all are so quick to turn on someone the instant adversity hits. That's really all I got for this video. Thank you all so much if you made it to this point, and if you enjoyed and haven't yet, please be sure to drop a like and subscribe because your support truly does mean the world. And also, let me know what you'd like to see next, and until then, I will see you all later.